What's going on, YouTube family? Welcome to Automotive Life. My name is Lucky, and today we're going to be talking about, is it a good time to open up a rental car business in 2024? So first, we're going to be talking a little bit about the rental car market for the last few years. Now, during the pandemic, we had millions of Americans that were stuck at home that couldn't go anywhere. Their cars were just sitting there, and work from home basically boomed. So a lot of people had cars that were sitting in their driveways, weren't doing anything, so they decided to put them on Turo. Plus, you had millions of Americans that wanted to travel because they didn't have to go to work. They were getting all this free money from the government. So what should they do with it? Go spend it, right? And so this gave birth to the perfect opportunity to jump into the rental car business. Now, I'm sure you guys, if you've been watching my channel for a while and if you've seen, everybody's made money off of Turo the last few years. But unfortunately, the market has completely changed, and there's a lot of reasons why. So I'm going to give you all the pros and the cons of opening up your rental car business in 2024 so you can make a fun, educated decision for yourself. So there are many ways to start a rental car business. You can either go through a rideshare app like Turo, or you can actually get your license and rent directly to consumers. First, we're going to be starting off with the pros and cons of Turo itself or rideshare apps. So Turo is a great way to get started in the rental car business, and it's much more affordable to figure out if you want to do this compared to spending thousands of dollars getting a license. Now, when you join Turo, you're already going to have an insurance policy in place through Turo itself. You're already going to have an aged market where there's going to be consumers on there looking for rental cars and deals. But here are some of the bad things. Since the pandemic, so many people jumped on the bandwagon of being Turo hosts. And I'm sure you've seen this on my channel and other channels. Everybody was a Turo guru telling you to put 10, 15 cars on there. You're going to make all this money. And I said right from the get-go, they're going to treat you really well when everybody's on the platform. But now that everybody's back to work, sales are slowing down, they're really going to put the screws to all the hosts that are on there. How are they doing this? By taking bigger fees and making you rent your car for less. Because remember, at the end of the day, Turo does not care how much money you make off of your rental. All they care about is a little piece of pie that they get every time somebody rents a car on the platform. So now with hundreds of thousands of people that popped up in the last 3 years, Turo has gotten so competitive. Now, there are people that are professionals that do this for a living, and the problem is with the margins you have to make of doing a rental car business, Turo simply does not work. Now, here's the con. Right now, Turo is a race to the bottom. Whoever has the cheapest car is going to get rented. I hate to say it, but this is the truth of the matter. Your car can be nicer, you can have more reviews, a pro host and all this other stuff, and it doesn't matter anymore. All they care about is who is the cheapest car that they could possibly get. Unfortunately, with this race to the bottom, it really hurts the people that are doing this long term, the professional hosts. So as a professional host, you know what it's going to cost for you to operate that vehicle every single day. You know your mileage and depreciation, your maintenance, how much money you have to make for profit, also what you have to spend for detailing. All these things give you what you need to make every single day. But a lot of these people renting out cars are unfortunately not sophisticated enough to think about those things. So if you put your car up there for $60 a day, you have a formula on why you actually do that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter on Turo because there's always going to be somebody out there with a $50 to $40 car that's exactly like yours. A lot of people right now are just putting their cars up just to make their monthly payments because unfortunately they've either been laid off, the free money's not flowing anymore, inflation has got everybody, rent's doubled, your car insurance has doubled, everything has pretty much doubled since the start of the pandemic. And so now it's just getting to a point where people literally just post their cars just to make their monthly payments. Now, these are some of the cons that kind of suck that's really hurting a lot of good Turo hosts. Now, is this something that you need to know about? Yes. Should this steer you away from starting your rental car business? I believe no, because what's going to happen is a lot of these people that are renting the cars out just to break even, it's going to become so much of a headache that eventually they're going to fall off the platform. And a lot has happened since the last time I made a video like this, is a lot of these people are walking away from the platform or getting kicked out because of all the negative reviews. Now it's more important than ever to make sure that your car has super clean, you have positive reviews, you take care of your customers. Because at the end of the day, if Turo has to start refunding people and basically canceling rides, it's affecting Turo's bottom dollar, not yours. So they're going to kick these people off the platform even faster. So if you're going to start this, make sure you take care of your customers and also think about what you need to do to properly make money on the platform. Now, when you first start, I recommend getting your own car that you're currently driving now. Don't go out and buy a car. Run it for, a few weeks or whenever you have days off, just to see if you like the process. So I've met a lot of people that have actually went out and bought several cars, started renting on Turo, and then realized they absolutely hated it once they started dealing with the people. So don't do that. Just use your own car, get acclimated to the business process, and see what you can do from there. That's the best way I can tell people to get started in the rental car business. Now, after that, we want to go out and get your license. Now, there's a few different ways you can do this. So starting off and getting your actual license to rent to the general public so you don't have to use a third-party app is a little bit tricky, but it's not that hard. Now, unfortunately, every city and state's different. It's very tricky, but I'll kind of give the breakdowns. If you guys want more information, I do consulting calls. If you guys want to go to my website, check it out. Links in the description. But first, you have to actually start out with your LLC or S Corp or whatever you and your tax attorney decides to do. Once you get that, you apply for your city license. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, there's no rental car license. I can't find it. Every city, every county, every state is different. Some will have an actual rental car license governed by the DMV. Others will just have a regular city license that's not that big of a deal. But either way, you have to get those. So the next step is getting your insurance, because this is the most important. Now, when you're getting your commercial policy, this is one of the reasons why I tell everybody to always start with Turo before you go full-time and rent to the general public. Because when you start a policy, it is astronomical. It is extremely expensive, especially if you get the correct policy. Now, a lot of people lie and tell people that, oh, it's a commercial policy, but it's not a rental car policy. It's just some random business policy. You need to get an actual rental car commercial policy. Now, the reason why this is so tricky is because some insurance companies want you to do several things. Some may want you to actually own all the cars outright, not have loans on them. If you do have loans, you have to put full coverage, and it's going to be an astronomical amount. So if you're paying, let's say, $250 a month for your regular car through your regular insurance, more than likely through your rental car insurance policy, it's probably going to cost you $600 a month. And then on top of that, remember, you can never call on your policy if your car is wrecked, because if you do, they will cancel you. Also, some insurance companies will require you to have a certain amount of vehicles. When I first started my policy, they wanted me to have 10 vehicles ready to go before they would start my initial policy. So each car that I had to pay $1,000 to start the policy. So it was $10,000 the day I started my policy. After that, I think it was a little over $200 per car for full coverage. Now, this was quite a few years ago. Just recently, I got a quote, and my new quote was the same thing, $1,000 a car, but now it's $680 a month for every single car. And this is just general liability. This is not full coverage because I own these cars outright. So that just kind of shows you how crazy it is when it comes to renting out cars. Now, if you want to do exotic cars like all these guys are trying to do online, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars to start your policies correctly. If anybody tells you different, they're obviously lying and they've never actually rented a car. It's either it's not in their name, it's in somebody else's name, or they don't have the proper insurance. On top of that, all the companies I know that do commercial policies for exotic rental car companies will not accept anybody new unless you put $500,000 in a bond and they hold it against your policy. That's how bad it is. A lot of these other companies have kind of disappeared because they want you to have a track record. So it's a little bit harder to get started. Once you get started, the market is actually much more open when it comes to private rentals. You're not paying that 30% off the top. Now, your expenses will go up about 25%, so it's a balancing act, but it gives you more options. When you have a rental car license, you can rent by the day, by the hour, by the week. We've done long-term rentals with construction companies, renting vans, trucks, if you want to do cars, SUVs, boats, trailers, motorcycles, jet skis, RVs, whatever you think of. As long as you have your rental car license and you're insured properly, you could rent it out to the general public. So there's lots of ways to monetize your vehicles so you can make constant revenue on them. And the reason why I like the actual rent to general public, so you could constantly be pivoting your direction on what makes you the most money. Where Turo, if you're renting cars and all of a sudden it doesn't work, you have a big demand for maybe Amazon drivers, Lyft drivers, stuff like that. They need either two-seater small cars that are efficient in gas, or they need large commercial vans. You can't do those on Turo. So at least with this, you can rent out to just about everybody, and you could do long commercial leases, which is also great. That's something else I'll get into. If you want more, message me. But there are a lot of opportunities when it comes to that. Now, here's the downfall. Here are all the cons. You are 100% responsible for checking every customer. If the customer's insurance is not correct and they crash the car, you lose that car or you have to pay for the repairs, not the customer. And before you say, well, I'm going to claim it on my insurance, remember, you cannot use your insurance because if you do, your policy will either double or triple, or they'll just cancel you the second that you file that claim. So I know it's kind of stupid that, like, why am I paying all this money for insurance when I can't use it? Unfortunately, that is the name of the game. You have to have it by law, but you can never use it because if you get any claims on your policy, I promise you they will double your rates. So if you thought $600 a month for a Nissan Altima was bad, wait till it's like $1,000 a month. You're gonna have a heart attack. Also, you are liable for any type of lawsuits. Believe it or not, if you're a rental car company, you will get sued. If somebody crashes your car, the first thing they wanna do is blame it on somebody else. I'm blaming it on the dealership because the brakes weren't working right. The rental car company gave me a bad car. So they're gonna ask you, okay, well, do you have receipts for your brakes? When was the last time you physically had it inspected? Not visual inspection like what Turo does, a physical inspection where you're taking the wheels off. You have to be very good with keeping documentation when you own your own rental car company and you're renting out to the general public because it makes you susceptible to lawsuits and basically losing your cars or losing your license. This is a very big deal. There's people out there, these gypsies that literally try to crash your cars on purpose to try to sue you. So it's very important. So that's one of the cons of opening up your rental car businesses. You're going to have to keep track of every single little thing. Now, what about the market? Market is okay. It's not the greatest right now. Obviously, we know that people are losing money. The economy is going down. And, unfortunately, we're getting ready to go into a presidential election. So it's going to get crazy. People are going to start blaming everybody for everything. But I think after that happens and the new president's elected, it should calm, get back to normal, and things will start moving. Now, the reason why I recommend opening up a rental car company now is because whether you use Turo or you actually get your license, there are going to be a lot of people that are losing their cars right now. They can't afford their payments. They're walking away from them. So their only other option is to rent a car. Now, it sounds kind of silly. I remember renting out cars for $1,000 a month thinking nobody will ever rent them, but there's tons of people that do. And especially now when people are paying 20-something% and they have a $1,200 payment on a Dodge Charger, you can offer them the exact same thing for probably less and take care of the maintenance. So you're going to see a lot more people jumping into there, as well as people doing deliveries, Amazon, if you want to do commercial rentals. I think those are going to boom as jobs start to fall off the map. Now, the government keeps saying that there's more jobs that were fine, but a lot of these people are working 2-3 jobs and they're not making the same amount of money. My Uber driver last week literally told me he works full-time at a casino here in Vegas, but he can't maintain his bills. He has to work about 20 hours a week doing Uber, so him and his wife make enough money so while they're at work, their kids can stay in daycare. And this is what we're going to be seeing unrolling in the economy. A lot of these jobs are not that great, so I think a lot of people are going to leave their traditional 9-to-5s to jump into doing deliveries, Postmates, Amazon deliveries, Uber, what's the other one? Lyft, all these other rideshare apps that are going out there helping people move around. And so you're going to see a boom of these. And then a lot of these people, remember, when they let go of their cars, they can't get a new one. And so I think the market for the rental car business is going to grow, but you just have to get through the rocky patch of 2024. But let me know what your questions or thoughts are in the comment section below. Are you thinking about opening a rental car business? Or do you have one already? How is it doing? Is it slow? Is it bad? Is your market in Turo? Is it a race to the bottom? Are people basically giving cars away? I remember when people were getting $200 a day for a Tesla Model 3. Now I see them as little as, I think, $35 to $45 a day here in Vegas. The market has definitely changed. So anyways, I would like to thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Lucky Lopez, and we'll see you next video.